Hello children. So in this video we have to start with the structure of atmosphere, and in the structure of atmosphere we are going to cover the different features of all the layers of the atmosphere. Right now in this video again I must remind you once again that if you like this video, don't forget to share it with your friends and subscribe the channel. Okay, now let's start with it. Atmosphere, children, has got basically 5 layers within it. Okay, first layer you can see in front of you in this. Number 1 is the troposphere, right? The first layer is troposphere. Second is stratosphere. Third layer is mesosphere. Fourth layer is thermosphere, or we also call it not exactly thermosphere, but it is ionosphere, right? And the outermost layer is exosphere. Ionosphere and exosphere together generally are called as thermosphere. Okay, now what are all these? How these all are important for us? Basically, when we start from below, that is from the earth's surface, right? One thing you all should understand, children, before we start with this: atmosphere is always in touch with the earth's surface, right? Just like water, atmosphere is also you can say it is in contact with the earth's surface, and this contact of earth, the atmosphere and the water together forms the life possible on earth. Okay, this is very important thing you should understand here, right? Now let's start with the first layer of atmosphere. The closest layer, or you can say the first layer, which is there as we start from the earth's surface, is the troposphere, right? You can see this is troposphere. Now in the troposphere, all the weather changes, right? All the weather changes, cloud formation, wind movement, all these take place within this layer. Okay, in this layer all the weather changes, cloud formation, or you can say the storms and all these wind and all these are formed in the troposphere only, right? Troposphere, it actually covers 8 kilometers over the poles, and it gets 18 kilometer thickness over the equator, right? So on an average you can say it is around 15 to 16 kilometers above the mean sea level, right? Now this is actually the thickness of troposphere. And children, out of the entire mass of air which is present in the atmosphere, almost 70% of the total gases, right? And these gases include mostly the heavier gases. All these are present in this layer, troposphere. And out of all these 70% of the total gases which are present, naturally the carbon dioxide and oxygen along with water vapor, all these are present within the limits of troposphere. Okay, so you can easily understand the air which we are actually at present breathing, right? Suppose the atmosphere around us at present, wherever we are, on whatever part of the world, in this portion beta, you will find whichever part we are present, we are inhaling in this troposphere only, right? So you can easily understand that this is the part in which maximum pollution also remains here, right? The pollutants which are being released every time by the vehicles, by the industries and all the different sources, all these are found within this layer maximum. Okay, so these are a few important features of troposphere. One more thing I must say here: troposphere has got all the water vapor content, and this actually relates with all the weather changes and the cloud formation and all that. So these are important features. And one more thing I must say here: as we go higher up from the earth's surface, as we go higher up, the temperature starts decreasing, and there is a rate of decrease of temperature that is called normal lapse rate. Now this normal lapse rate is what? A decrease of temperature with an increase of height of every 165 or 166 meters of ascent or going up, there is a decrease of 1 degree centigrade temperature, right? So this is the reason it is always seen that when we go from a plain area to any hill station, we find the temperature is low generally, right? During summers, when we feel very hot, we generally prefer to go to any of the hill stations. What is the reason? This is the fact behind it. All the hill stations are much colder than the plain areas. Why? Because as we go higher up, the temperature starts decreasing, right? Is this much clear to all of you? Now, as we move towards the end of the troposphere, the limit of the troposphere, the upper limit of the troposphere is called as Tropopause, right? Tropopause is the upper limit of the troposphere. This we can say that it is a transitional zone, okay? It is a transitional zone which has got a few features of troposphere and a few features of stratosphere also, which is just above that, right? So after the tropopause, when we again start moving up, we find the second layer, which you can see here. This is called stratosphere, right? Second layer from the Earth's surface is stratosphere, right? Now stratosphere, first of all, the thickness of it. It is generally taken as from the mean sea level when we measure the till a height of 50 kilometers, you will find stratosphere is there, right? In stratosphere, you will find maximum part of stratosphere has got a constant temperature condition, right? But in the upper limits, you will find the temperature increases, okay? Almost along the tropopause, you will find the temperature is around minus 60 degrees centigrade. And as we cross the stratosphere, as we go higher up, till the limit of stratosphere, upper limit of stratosphere, which is again called as stratopause, right? Stratopause, again a transitional zone which separates stratosphere from the mesosphere, which is lying again above it, right? And this transitional zone has got a few features of stratosphere as well as a few features of mesosphere. Now this tropopause is the limit where you will find the temperature actually increases until stratopause, the temperature reaches to 0 degree. Okay, so these are a few things about stratosphere. And in stratosphere, there is one very important thing which you should know related to stratosphere. Stratosphere has got mostly very calm conditions, right? There are no weather changes, no turbulence of turbulence, or you can say the wind movements, and all these are totally absent, right? Moreover, there is absence of water vapor also, so no cloud formation, nothing. All these things are totally absent, right? That's why, you know, the stratosphere is taken as the best part of the atmosphere. Above troposphere, this is the layer where the, you can say, the supersonic planes generally prefer to move in this part of the atmosphere, right? Because they move without any hindrance, without any such problems like turbulence and all, okay? This is the reason the planes prefer to move in stratosphere, not the troposphere. Why not the troposphere? Because in troposphere there are always some or the other weather changes go on. Clouds are there, several turbulences you will find, but these are totally absent in the case of stratosphere. It is very calm condition, and that is quite suitable for the high speed moving jet planes, right? Now in stratosphere, the ozone layer is also present. Around in between 20 to 50 kilometers, you will find the ozone layer is present. Now what is it? It is also called as Ozonosphere. It has got high content of ozone gas. This is the layer which is very important for us again, as you can say one of the factors which helps in the survival of life on Earth, right? It is having high content of ozone gas, and which protects us from the harmful ultraviolet radiation which comes along with the solar radiation, right? Which is a part of solar radiation. If the ultraviolet radiation, ultraviolet rays are going to reach on the Earth's surface, it's going to be very dangerous for us, and it will cause several diseases to develop, and then the life will be totally in danger. That's why it is considered that the ozone layer is very essential for the existence of life on Earth. Okay, this ozone layer does not allow the ultraviolet rays, which are actually harmful for us. Not the all the ultraviolet rays, some part of the, you can say, harmful part of the ultraviolet rays which are really harmful for us, these are totally filtered by the ozone, right? And after that, rest of it reaches on the Earth's surface, which doesn't cause any harmful effect. So this is how the ozone again plays a very important role in this case. Okay, children. Now after this, as we move further, the next layer, the third layer from the Earth's surface also, and the third layer from upside also. That means it is the intermediate layer which lies in the atmosphere. And what is it now? This is Mesosphere, right? Mesosphere is a layer, children, in which you will find the temperature starts decreasing. Constantly the temperature decreases. Just now in the earlier part I said along the Stratopause almost the temperature reaches to 0 degree. So as we go further upside towards the end of the Mesosphere. Now what is the end of Mesosphere called? Again, the upper limit of Mesosphere is also called by similar name, that is called Mesopause, right? Now Mesopause is again a transitional zone which separates Mesosphere on one side and thermosphere or ionosphere on the other side, or you can say thermosphere on the other side. Okay, now Mesosphere has got a thickness of 80 kilometers above the mean sea level. You will find there is Mesosphere, right? After Stratopause, it is still a height of 80 kilometers and it has got very low temperature conditions. It reaches to almost minus 110 or 15 degrees centigrade when we reach to the Mesopause, right? Now what is the importance of this layer? Again, it has got its own importance. In this layer, mostly you will find, children, when the meteors enter, right? In some cases, you will find the meteors are able to enter the atmosphere of Earth. When they reach in this layer, right? These meteors actually, they get fused, or you can say they earlier they were very hot as they were crossing the thermosphere. They were very hot, burning, rocky particle, you can say, right? But when they enter Mesosphere, they totally get fused. That means it's extremely low temperature and it makes the meteors to actually cool down immediately. And as they cool down, their impact, when they reach on the Earth's surface, their impact gets very less and they cause very less destruction somehow if they are able to reach on the Earth's surface. Otherwise, in most of the cases, if the meteors are not so big in size, they get actually destroyed in the way only. And these meteors, when they break down into smaller particles, they spread over in the atmosphere in this part and they form wispy clouds, right? So this is again one important thing. Now, after the Mesosphere, as we again move further upside, so what is the end of Mesosphere called now? This is Mesopause. Okay. What is Stratopause? Stratopause is separating stratosphere and mesosphere. Same way, what is Tropopause? Tropopause is separating troposphere and stratosphere. Right? Now here we are talking of the Mesopause. Mesopause, again, it is the upper limit of the Mesosphere. Right? Now again a transitional zone which is separating Mesosphere and the thermosphere on the other side. Clear? Now this Mesopause is found at what altitude? It is found at a height of 80 kilometers, almost 80 kilometers from the mean sea level. Okay. Now after Mesopause, as we go further upside, we find a thick layer is there which is totally called as thermosphere, right? Within thermosphere we include Ionosphere as well as Exosphere, which is the outermost layer of it. Okay. Now what is Ionosphere? Ionosphere is the fourth layer which we get after the Mesosphere. This is called Ionosphere. Right? Why it is called Ionosphere? Ion. From iron it has got the name Ionosphere. Ionosphere means in this you will find a number of electrically charged particles are there, right? And these electrically charged particles are called ions. It can be positively or negatively charged particles. And these ions help a lot in the radio transmission, okay? Proper working of the radio waves, or you can say the radio transmission, radio communication is carried on because of this layer of atmosphere, which is called as ionosphere, right? And in this you will find it is starting from 80 kilometers and till 400 kilometers almost. It is covered by ionosphere, right? And this is again important for the aurora borealis and aurora australis, right? These are actually a band of light which are created because of atmosphere only, you know, because of these ions, and the lights are spread over in this at this level. And near the poles you must have heard about it, aurora borealis and aurora australis. These are totally caused because of this particular layer which is called as ionosphere, right? Again, it helps in the transmission of radio waves, right? When the waves, suppose any transmission is going on the earth's surface, okay, the waves come up, and when they strike these ions, they are again reflected back to the earth's surface at different angles, and these actually are making the radio or the television transmission possible. Especially the radio communication or the wireless communication has been possible because of this layer only. Okay, children? So after this is about the ionosphere. And until what level it goes? It goes till almost 400 kilometers from the mean sea level, right? Now after ionosphere, the outermost layer of the atmosphere is called as exosphere, right? Now exosphere and ionosphere together, these are called as thermosphere, right? You can see I told you in the beginning also, ionosphere and exosphere together they form thermosphere. By this you can get an idea. Thermos means it is related with the temperature, so you can easily relate with high temperature of ionosphere and exosphere, right? As we go higher up, the temperature keeps increasing, right? And maximum temperature you will find in the outermost layer of the atmosphere. What is the reason for that? The reason is basically because it is closest to the sun rays. It is the outermost layer, so it is getting the solar radiation first. So this is the layer which is hottest layer on the earth's surface, you can say in the earth's atmosphere. And what is the reason for that? Solar radiation, right? And one more thing you should keep in mind, it doesn't get affected by the temperature which is being released by the earth, which is called as terrestrial radiation. Terrestrial radiation is totally responsible for heating up of the lowest part of the atmosphere, which is in direct touch with the earth's surface, right? But here, what is the reason for the high temperature in the case of exosphere? The reason for that is the solar radiation, which is directly hitting this outermost layer of the atmosphere, causing the temperature to go very high, okay? And its limit is, you know, at 400 kilometers almost it is found, and it goes till around 1500 kilometers. Actually, let me tell you one thing, children. There is no clear-cut limit of the atmosphere of Earth, right? It is approximately, we say, it goes till a height of 1500 kilometers or so, right? Because it, you know, the outermost part of the exosphere, you can say, it merges with the outer space, right? So we cannot say there is a clear-cut boundary or a line till where the atmosphere of Earth can be seen, okay? And in exosphere, again, because along with ionosphere, the exosphere has got a very high temperature, Here the temperature goes very high, especially as we move towards the outer parts of the exosphere, the temperature reaches very high. Okay, so that's why called by the name thermosphere. Clear? And in this layer you will find the very light gases. Okay, the gases like helium, hydrogen, these are generally found at this level, at the level of exosphere. Clear? So this is about the exosphere, children. Right? Now exosphere is basically composed of very light gases like helium, hydrogen and all, and that's why it has got very less density. Clear? So exosphere is having very less density, while as we go closer towards the Earth's surface, you will find the density of air at the lowest level. In the first layer of the atmosphere, in the troposphere, you will find the density of air is maximum. Atmospheric pressure is maximum. Why? Because it is actually getting the weight of upper lying layers. Okay? The pressure which is exerted by the upper lying layers causes the atmospheric pressure in the lowest layer of the atmosphere to go very high. Okay, that's why it is said as we go closer to the Earth's surface, the atmospheric pressure increases. Why? Because it is getting you can say the weight of the upper lying layers of the atmosphere, which makes the pressure to become very high. Moreover, the gases which are present, that also can be one reason. Gases which are present in the troposphere or the lower limits are the heavy gases as compared to the outermost layer of it. Clear now? I hope this much is very clear to you all, children. Yes? So in the next video, children, we are going to continue with one more important part of this topic, the atmosphere. That is actually the ozone depletion and the greenhouse gases, and all these we are going to discuss. So till then, again, I must remind you here, don't forget to share this video with your friends and subscribe this channel, and also press the bell icon so that you will get the notifications further related to any of the latest videos which are being uploaded in the channel.